This video is for my day ones, those of us who've been on this journey with me for an incredibly long time. And you know that I am so committed to always being authentic, always being balanced, and always giving you the truth where it is scarce out here in this world. And today I want to talk to you, my darlings, about the reality. And you're not going to want to hear this and you're going to be like, oh, another one of those bar humbugs or whatever the story is. But for those of you who do want to hear it, those who do value wisdom and truth, and those of you who are aligned to truth, this video is for you. Now, I have a feeling it won't get very many views, but sometimes as a creator, you got to do the work of the Lord and not just the work that gets people excited. We have to come off it. We have to come out of this this hypnotic mesmerization that we have around being with wealthy men, or being with men who can provide at 100%. Ladies, the reality of life, the real reality is that most men, 90% of men in the Western world, let alone every other part of the world, are incapable of providing 100% of a woman's lifestyle, let alone children. They just can't do it. They can't necessarily do it at the level that you have become accustomed to. They cannot do it because they just don't earn enough. Even if they broke their back, they wouldn't be able to do it. I have acquaintances, people I've known since I was in my teens, who are into street pharmaceuticals, and they're not making it because there's this idea that, oh, if you do something illegal, you're going to make it. There are a lot of criminals who are not making it. They're hardly making ends meet, because the reality is the society we live in is designed for two-income households. I hate to break it to you. It is what it is, okay? And I'm going to be saying a lot of very hard truths, that I've not really shared publicly in a way, because I hate to break our souls. I hate to leave people feeling unloved or unchosen. But the sooner we are able to really have these conversations I would have with my niece, conversations that are hard to hear, but if I don't say it, there's a world that is out there prepared to deceive you, to lie to you, and to create chaos in your life. I will always say a man must provide, protect, and cherish. And I would love a world where men can provide it 100%, protect it 100%, and cherish a woman at 100%. That's how it should be. But how things should be aren't always how they are. And it's so important for us to be wise enough to be able to discern, how can I be the woman that can build something for myself that includes being a mother, that includes being a wife, that includes matrimony. I mean, if you don't want any of that, then you're at the wrong place, right? You know, if you're watching this video and you're like, I don't want to be married, baby, just keep it moving. But you are here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy, sitting here with Chengi, because the truth is, you would like to be a wife and mom one day. You would like to have a family one day, or at least just be married. And so if that is the case, we're gonna have to keep it real. Just because you earn really well, if you're fortunate enough to, let's be honest, a lot of us don't earn well. A lot of us are barely making ends meet. A lot of us are dating just so that we can eat, or just so we can find somebody who can help us out with these bills. Life is expensive for both men and women. Even if a man has 1,000 jobs, it's still expensive for him. Now, this is not taking men off the hook. Sadly, they're not parented well, and neither are we. A young man like my son, I've already told him, the early years of your life, between now and 25, that's for you to establish yourself, establish your finances, and know the kind of man that you're going to be and what you can afford, because that's going to give you better standing in the dating market. It's going to make you more masculine in the dating market, and that is what he's been able to focus on because of good parenting. But so many men don't have that parenting. They go around sleeping around, having fun, having sex, and then they find themselves broke, busted, and disgusted, and wanting somebody's daughter to be with them and help them out with these bills. Yes, this is totally happening. But even if a man starts young, even if he starts building up his income and getting his wealth across, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be able to hold a household all by himself, even if he is doing illegal activity. So what do we do? Where does that leave us? Do we start negotiating 60-40, 40-70, whatever? What do we start to do? Do we start to negotiate percentages? What I suggest is as follows. We start to vet for strong character. First, let's look at three. I like to break it down to three. It's more complex than that, but for the purposes of this video, we're going to break it down into 3 stages that men find themselves in. If you're a young lady under the age of 25, I might even hazard under the age of 30. You are meeting men who are at the stage in their lives where they're still building. And it's unless you're prepared to date 15, 20 years older men who are 40 plus, and men who have somewhat established themselves. But men under the age of 30 are not going to be in a stage in their lives where they have it. They might be in a place in their lives where they can pay for dates, where they can treat you to things. But to really say, I'm going to marry you and be a responsible husband, this is not something they're capable of doing. So at this stage in your life, under the age of 30, building with a man is a wise thing to do. That means, how can we join our heads together and create something that will allow us both to become something later in life, both of us to enjoy freedom? How can we co-labor together? Because if you can be the kind of woman, now I know you've heard it before, I'm not building with no man, I'm not going to do a Build-A-Bear, because they always leave you for the other woman, and I've done a video on this about why they leave for the other woman. So hopefully that would have answered your question. If not, just go and find the video on this channel. So it's not just random. They just don't go and find another woman. There are reasons why that happens. But nevertheless, you want to choose a man based on his character. Is he hardworking? Is he focused? Does he have a vision for his life? Is he clear about where he's going, about the man that he is and the man he wants to become? You see, a moving person, a man that is on his trajectory, a masculine man who's focused on where he is going, that is a bus you want to ride before anybody discovers that gold. Before anybody else discovers the gold, that's when your behind wants to get in there. And you want to get in there knowing where you are going, knowing your vision, knowing your value, knowing what you want to do for your life, and knowing that both of these destinies are somehow intertwined, work in complement to each other, so that nobody has to abandon themselves, but together with a mindset where if it doesn't work, I haven't abandoned me. I still have my life and you have yours, but together we can move mountains. We have to understand the power of spirituality. One can chase 1,000, two can chase 2,000, 10,000. But what I want you to know about this exponential growth is it comes by being in a covenant. A man will marry you if he sees that you are somebody he can build with. You are somebody he can lay bricks with. You are somebody that he can plan with. You're somebody who is not in it to... And this is not about you going out dating and offering to pay for things or offering to pay for his thing or whatever. You're not being required to be an investor, but emotionally be prepared to say, okay, this is where he is. This is how far he has come on his own. And I'm prepared to join this party and be an accessory, be a cheerleader, be an idea generator, be somebody who understands what he's building, co-labor with him as I build my own life. That mindset is going to get you further than I want 100% provider and he doesn't earn enough and what do you do for a living? Because let's be honest, those types of men at that age are not as available. The ones who are between 30 to 40, these men usually are coming into an understanding of who they are, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they've made a lot of money. What they probably have is access to more debt, maybe a higher credit score for those who live in countries where credit score is a big deal, and maybe he is in a place where he can afford to provide for you, but not a luxurious life. He can afford to share the life he has built with you. If he has a one-bedroom apartment, he can afford to move you in. If he has a two-bedroom apartment, he can afford to move you and some of your bits. Okay. At this point, you want to be the woman who is content to live the lifestyle he can provide. Now, if you've provided the most luxurious lifestyle for yourself, you live in a mansion, and he lives in a little apartment, then you're kind of unequally yoked. Are you prepared to lower your lifestyle and be where he is so that he can provide 100%? You're in a little bit of a quandary. But if we're going to be honest, if this man is on an upward trajectory, he's working hard and he is willing to give you the commitment that you deserve, treat you the way that you deserve, you can definitely consider being with this man, because eventually some of these men and will lean in on you for a little while. You know, if we get married, we can move into my house. I've had clients like these who make good money. They're with guys who make good money but not as much money as them, and they're talking about marriage, and it makes sense that they move into the woman's home and he assumes responsibility for the mortgage and some of the major bills without putting himself out. This is called teamwork. This is a smart woman. This is how you're going to do it in a world where every other woman is going, hell no. And the men who are 40 plus, who've who've established themselves and can at some point provide what they can provide is what they can provide. Okay, and if you are a woman who, he can match it, go with it. Let's make it work. If you want him to provide 100%, get into his life and be a part of it, and be an extra mouth to feed rather than an extra piece of a bigger expense to take care of. Now, this is how we have to think about relationships. We cannot go into them with the mindset that is crowding and brainwashing and destroying the woman's opportunity to be in a loving relationship. I want us to think teamwork. I want us to think alignment. I want us to think, can I be aligned with this man? Can I support this man? Can I be his rib at this stage in his life and not feel any kind of way if it doesn't work out as a relationship? If you can say yes, if you can say he is good enough to me, he's loving enough to me, he's kind enough to me, he's consistent enough with me, and he's hardworking enough as a man, and he's focused as a man, partner with that man and create a life together that you can both be proud of, because that is the way forward. And leave the girly whirlies who want to be flown out and all the things. Leave them to their own devices. We deal with real men, real situations right now, and so many of us are missing out on good men because we want them to be where they're not. And again, I am not advocating for being with a loser who depends on you to pay for everything. I'm advocating for a man who truly desires to be in his masculine, to provide, to protect, and cherish, and he's after it, he's chasing it, he's focused, and he is so, so, so good to you. This man must not be dismissed. And do not go out into the world with an energy that says, hey, pay my bills, my telephone bills. We're not doing that. We want to create families, real love, real life. This is what we are investing in. Now there is that 2%, 10%, and that's me being generous, of men who can absolutely give you the world. But girls, I have been in that world, and in many ways I can still be in that world, except now I've become a recluse that stays in my home and doesn't leave my house. But for many years I worked in the very top end of London. I was in Kensington, I was in Knightsbridge, I was around celebrities, I was in the heart of the kind of money that people only ever see on television. This was very much my world, and as a result of being in that world, I had access to men who had great wealth, and many of them wanted to date me. Many of them wanted me to be their girlfriend, the ones that I did date. And of course, at the time, it did not work out. It's not what I wanted. I was always looking for true love and all the things. But I want to tell you this as somebody who understands the world, that world from the inside. There are wonderful rich men with good, great hearts who love their wives, who love their women, who just really got rich because they did, not because they were trying to be so rich they could sleep with anything that walked. They're just some really great guys who are really wealthy. But I will tell you this. I was a size 0. And I was super uber glamorous. I mean, a lot of people think I'm glamorous now, but I was like a freaking model. And all the girls that were around me, all we did was stay thin. thin. You have to have a certain aesthetic about you. You have to have a certain look. You also have to have a certain kind of breeding. You have to understand how it is to be in those circles and conduct yourself with a level of class and dignity and grace that many of us just don't have. We just weren't raised in those worlds. We don't know how to navigate those worlds. You know, I came from a world where these were the things that were instilled in me, in my home, in my household. So again, it was a very natural world to be a part of. And in that world, they spend a lot of money to keep people out. That's the whole point of being wealthy, is keeping general population out. They don't want you there. They don't want you at their golf courses. They don't want you at their country clubs. They don't want you there. So I'm seeing this move of girls. Now we play golf. Now we go to all these places. They don't want you there. And they will leave that country club, or they will raise the prices because they don't want you there. They don't want the general public there. What they really want is to be amongst themselves, to enjoy the life that they have. And there's a certain look and a certain aesthetic that you have to have, and a certain behavior. Now, do you want to contort yourself like a pretzel to join a world that doesn't feel authentic to you? Do you really want that? Are you really that committed? Okay, I am. I'm committed. I want to become her. I'm going to listen to all the how to drink wine from the bottle and how to da-da-da-da-da, which really, in truth, don't really apply in those circles. Everybody is actually quite normal because they have selected their company, and everybody's pretty normal in those settings. And all this kind of hold your glass like this is not really what happens in those circles. People just live normally and drink normally and do all the things. But let's say you decide, yeah, I want to be that girl, I want to be hoity-toity, I want to be la-di-da, and I want to join those circles. While you're competing with women that have been in those circles, who grew up in those circles, went to those private schools, went to those places, there is a caliber and a breed of woman that already has access to those 10%. There's a caliber of woman that already spins those men around, and these men have, even their escorts are of a certain caliber. Even the women they cheat with are high-end mistresses. Is it really worth it to spend the next 5 to 6 years trying to penetrate a realm that is trying to keep you out just so that you can have a shot at a man who already has 20,000 options within that world, who've never had to learn? Is it really? Yeah, occasionally you might be out shopping and a rich man might stop you and hey presto, you might be online. Hey presto, yeah, you could get lucky, but is that really a plan? Is that really a plan? We need to come off it, girls. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I hate to have to bring us down to earth. I'm not talking about settling, because I know somebody's going to settle for some loser. No, we don't deal with losers. We deal with men who don't just have potential, but act on that potential, whose path is so high vibrational, who are wanting to be somebody, and all they need is a cheerleader. All they need is somebody who's in their corner, who's going to have their back, who's going to do this with them and cheer them on through the tough times and not create drama. If you're prepared to be that man will pour his love on you. I was reflecting today at this whole story of, she built him up and then he left. Yes, that happens. But that's because we never hear the other side of the woman that did stay, that did build, that stuck around, that did the work, that loved herself and grew herself. Those stories exist in the majority. But they're so busy enjoying the life they built with their husbands that they don't have time to create a YouTube channel or an Instagram channel talking about how dirty they were done. I want you to know that there are a lot of women in their marriages who build something with their men, who are honored and cherished for it, build families, have children. And if we're going to be honest with ourselves, let's just look around at the women that are married around us. Let's look at the ones that we believe are successfully married. If you're lucky enough to have successfully married people around you, not just miserable women who say they're married, but really they're just imprisoned. If you're lucky enough to look around and see the couples that are married, you will hear the same story of a woman that built with a man. A woman that was prepared to stand by him and support him. That story exists, and it does bear fruit. It does. She's just not telling us about it because she's happy with her choices. Now, obviously, if you need help with this and it feels like I don't even know where I am now because I'm supposed, what is supposed to be, is he a provider or not, and how much should he provide? That's what we're here to do, because every case is different. Not everybody's the same. Not everybody fits the same thing. We can talk about this. We can help you break it down. We can help you map it out, and we can help you get through from point A to point B in your relationship. But girls, this video, if you pay attention to it, is going to absolutely change your life. It's going to change your reality. It's going to change your outcomes when it comes to love, dating, and marriage. I hope to see you in my next video. In the meantime, do take care of you. Love you lots. Bye-bye.